Welcome back to the show. This is KDS Reviews. There's been a lot of good biographical films about music artists that has come out. Some pretty good, some of them not so good. But still, who are some of the current artists that you think would have a good biographical film? Let's start off with Prince. Now, Prince would be an interesting story. We start off with his early career when it's just him, and then Prince and the Revolution, and they could come to the apex of when he was playing, when he made the movie and soundtrack of Purple Rain. Now, who do I think could play Prince? This is a really tough choice. I'm going to say Lenny Kravitz. I think Lenny Kravitz could pull it all. Him already being a musician and a guitar player, I think he could get his movements down. I think he'd even get his speech and mannerism down. This would be a really interesting movie to me here. I mean, it would be filled up with a lot of sensational stuff behind the scenes that you didn't know about. Up next, they could do Lionel Richie. Now, that would be an interesting story, too. Start off from his beginnings up in Alabama, how he started off early in his career. I think how he teamed up and formed the Commodores and how famous they became. And then his eventual separation from the Commodores and how he got really big as a solo artist. Now, if I was casting this movie, who would I play? Who would play Lionel Richie? I'm going to say Michael B. Jordan. I think he could pull it off, really. He's got the acting chops. That was the first person I thought who could really play this role. I mean, he might even be nominated for an Academy Award doing it. This would be a really good, interesting story and a really good choice. And then third, there's Taylor Swift. Now, who would you get to play Taylor Swift? You start off from her early beginnings. She actually played in a festival here that's close by here in Pensacola, Florida, where this show was filmed. Show how she started off as a country star, and then all the controversy about the licensing of her music, and then her ultimate separation from that genre, and then how she got into the pop genre, and how big and famous she became. Now, who would I cast as Taylor Swift? Sydney Sweeney. I think they could cut her hair, style her hair in a different way. I think she could pull it off, Is she the same height? No, but it would be an interesting film here. The interesting part is who would play Travis Kelce. Up next, Ozzy Osbourne. Now, I'm thinking myself, this is an obvious choice. Who could play Ozzy Osbourne? His early rise over there in England, and with Black Sabbath, and then his solo career, and all the things that went on in his life. This would be a really interesting movie too. But who would I play? I think you already know. Jack Black. Now, they could calm him down from all his silly stuff that he does all the time and just make him serious. I think Jack Black actually could pull this movie off. Ooh, that's another one. That would be an interesting movie to see and see his acting chops in here. It would be really good. I would say Jack Black is a good choice to play Ozzy Osbourne. Here's another one. Mick Jagger from the Rolling Stones. This is another one. This would be really good because they would show their rival. The Rolling Stones rival with the Beatles, how big they got and all the relationships that he got in and all of this and his back and forth with Keith Richards. Now, I was just casting this movie. Who would I cast? I'm going to say Harry Styles. I think Harry Styles could pull it off. I mean, he have the look, the mannerism, and he's got the acting. I think he could really do a good job to play Mick Jagger. And this is another one. I paid money to see this movie. Be a really good movie. And as a bonus, how about Kurt Cobain? Now, how would they do this from right here? Show his rise, the Seattle grunge rock era. Ultimately, his death up in Seattle. Now, who would I cast to play Kurt Cobain? I'm going to say Jared Leto. This is KDS Reviews. And KDS Reviews is seen every Wednesday and every Sunday. And throughout the week, we make commentary about the state of Hollywood as far as movie making is. If you like this type of content, then like, subscribe, and share. What do you think about some of these musical acts? Or do you have one of your own? And who would you cast? Would you comment down below? And if you want to see more about some autobiographical films, of some musical artists, then watch this video right here. This is KDS Reviews, and I'll see you in the next video.